All right, for part 2 of the QuizMe app, we're going to do a couple new pieces of code. First one we're going to do is screen 1, initialize. So what this piece of code does is say that as soon as an app turns on, this is what we want to happen. So on screen 1 initialize, we want to take our question label and we want to set the text. So we're looking for a dark green that says set question label text to, and it has an open block at the end, and we're going to put that in screen 1 initialize. Next thing we need to do is select from our list. So we're going to go up to our list, and we need to find the one that says select list item from the index. That's this one right here. So I haven't scrolled down or anything, but it's close to the bottom of my page. Select list item, and then it says list and index. We're going to put that onto our text. Next one is we need to call our question list variable that we made before. So we need to call this variable. So we go to variables and we say get global question list. Make sure you choose question list and not answer list. And then we set that current question list last time, the index. So we're going to tell it to pick that index. And pick a 1 right here. Okay, so as soon as our screen turns on, we tell the question label, the words that show up under our picture, to go pull from this list that we just made. Now, when you connect this to your tablet, you should see that it starts to pull up some questions. The questions are not going to change automatically. That's what our next button is for. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to choose our next button from over here. And we're going to say that when our next button is clicked, we need to set our question index. So we're going to go over and we're going to set our question index, which is a variable. So set current question index. And then we need a math block because we're joining 2 of them together. So we're going to pick the plus sign. And we're going to say it's global current question index because we already have 1 and we want it to go get the next one, kind of like when we add a point. So we're going to say get the current question index and then add 1 more to it. So plus 1. Just like we did with mole mash to get another point, this is telling it to go back to that question index and get another one. Then we're going to set that question label text just like we did before. Set question label text to select the item off the list. And we'll choose our variable of our global question list. And we'll index it to the current index location. Okay, so our next button gets our current location on the index, adds 1 more to it, and then changes the label on our display to go from the list and then put it in the index so that it will continue to move down the list. All right. We also need to tell it what to do if it doesn't get a right answer. So we're going to go to control, and we need to pull out an if-then. Top one is if-then, and we're actually going to put it above those codes we just wrote. So right underneath when next button click, that's where we're going to put the if-then. Then we're going to say that if our current index equals 3, so we need a math block with an equal sign, and we're going to pull out if our current index, so get current index. If that current index equals 3, then we want to set our current index question. Oops, wrong one. Throw that one away. We're going to set the current question index to 0. Okay, so that means when we've run out of questions, go back to the beginning. Now this is pretty easy to modify once you get it going, because you can just change your questions up here. So we've got 3 baseball questions right now. We can add another one that says, how many perfect games did Nolan Ryan pitch? And once we get that question in, as long as we keep it in the same order, we could just add another item and say, well, to be perfectly honest, Nolan Ryan pitched 0 perfect games. But you can't use a math block there. Sorry, that's a text box. And we type a 0 in there. Okay, so we have questions, we have answers. Now, when you test this, you're going to see that your 4th question still doesn't appear that we just added, because we told it that when our current index equals 3 to go back to the beginning. That doesn't work because now we have 4 questions. So you have to change this to 4 to get it to cycle back to the beginning again. Right now, all it will do is show your answers and your questions. It doesn't do anything with your pictures. So that's what we're going to do next, is get our pictures to change when we want the questions to show up. So we're going to do another variable to initialize our picture list. That's going to be another list. And our list is going to have 4 answers on it, so I need to add 2 more items, just like we did earlier. Now you need to be careful here because you have to type them exactly the way they appear on the file name. So I'm going to pull out my 4 text boxes. And then I'm going to look back at what I have as my names. So I'm actually going to write these down on a piece of paper so that I'm not flipping screens over and over. So I have Ryan, all lowercase. I have Young, all lowercase. I have Braden, all lowercase, and then I have Larson, all lowercase for each of mine. I come back here, and then for my list, I'm going to type in the order I put the pictures, or the order my questions go in. So since I know I need Larson, Braden, Young, I'm going to go Larson, Braden, Young, all lowercase, just like I had them. And then I forgot I need to put my JPG, or in my case, I'm pretty sure, I'll double check, I'm pretty sure the files I gave you were PNGs. Yep, PNG is the file type on this one. So after each name, I'm going to write PNG. And as long as you didn't change the names after you downloaded them off Canvas, yours should look the same as mine. So I've got my picture list. I've got my 3 pictures on there. Ryan. Since my last question is about Nolan Ryan pitching, it's going to show a picture of Nolan Ryan even though the answer is 0. So Nolan Ryan. All right. So I like to keep my code organized. I like all my variables to be in the same place. So I'm going to move this one up. It just helps me stay organized. So I've got all my variables in one place. All right, next thing I want to do is tell my pictures to show up when I click my next button. So I'm still working in this next code. And I need to change my image 1. So I'm going to click on my image 1, and I'm going to tell it to set the image 1 picture to, which is right here. And I know it comes with a Braden on there. I don't actually want that yet. I need that image 1 picture to select from the list that we already created. So I'm going to make a list. Nope, sorry, not make a list. I'm going to select from my list. Just like we did for the questions. Select list. And in here, I need to get my global picture list. And then I need to get my current question index so that whatever number I'm on, it picks that number from each of my lists. So if my current question and index is 2, then it's going to come up here and it's going to say, okay, question index 2 is who pitched a perfect game. Index 2 is Dallas Braden. Picture 2 is Braden.png, because it's the second one on the list each of those times. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen. Make sure, pause, double check that yours looks the same as mine. If it doesn't, we have an issue. And then I'm actually going to end this video here, and then the final video will be how to make your answer button work.